Thank you, Anne. And all of you, thank you again for inviting me to be here. It's always a pleasure and an honor to be a part of your spiritual center. As I've said before, I love what you are doing here. One of the visions for the future of this world that we are creating is that there will no longer be men at the top, so to speak. That we all have within us the capacity to be self-governing. And this spiritual center is a perfect example of that each of you are equally contributing to this beautiful community. And this is a concept that can spread throughout the world. So my message today, focus on the future, is about being forward focused. And whether this group realized it or not, you actually were being forward focused as you together as a community chose to take over this center and see the value in each other rather than looking to an external guidance. Because the truth is, every single one of us are internally guided, and everything we seek is already existing within ourselves. We just have to stop looking outside of ourselves and instead focus on the truth that exists within. And I know all of you have heard the saying, live in the present moment. Is there anyone here who hasn't heard that before? We all know that, live in the present moment. Living in the present is the most beautiful space to be. And the reason is because this is the only moment that is really real. This is where all creation occurs. This is where all inspiration occurs. This is where we actually create our reality here and in this present moment. And I think it's really important to understand the difference. Now, I grew up with this belief, or this old saying, some of you might not have heard this if you're a little younger, which is, live and be merry, for tomorrow we may die. And this, of course, is for those people who have no concept of the future at all. The future of the world might come to an end tomorrow, so let's do really stupid things today. It's basically what that is. And so there isn't a lot of conscious choice that comes with living for the now rather than being in the now. So one is about doing for the present moment, the other one is about being in the present moment and being in this beautiful presence of where all things are created. Being in this presence, in this present moment, we're able to then bring the past into the presence with us and bring the future into the presence with us. And from this moment of creation, we can use the future and the past to create a better present moment. So a great analogy for this, there are a lot of people that go through life living their life in the past. I remember hearing this when I was in my early 20s, when I had my first spiritual awakening. I was 21 years old, and I discovered a center for spiritual living. It was then called the Church of Religious Science. It brought an awareness into my life that I didn't even know was possible, because I grew up in a very fundamentalist, very patriarchal, polygamist environment. Just a really unique environment, but it was extremely religious. And I had no concept of what it meant to not live in the past. And we lived so far in the future that we didn't actually live. This environment I grew up in, the entire focus of living was for where we're going to end up after we die. So if you imagine not ever really living because they're so terrified of how you will live after you die. So there was no living in the present. And the adults in my community actually made fun of people who said live in the present because they thought it was a joke. So how do we then take all these concepts and bring them into the present moment? A lot of people, until they learn how to live in the present, are either living their lives in the past or they're living their lives in the future. They're living their lives in the past with all the blame and shame and regret and victimization and suffering and trauma that comes with living in the past. Or they're living in the past where they're only remembering all the good stuff. And they don't remember any of the bad stuff. And the past actually exists for a very good reason. The past exists as an opportunity for learning. Really, that's the only reason it exists. The past exists for us to learn from it and for us to create relationships that we carry forward. And the key is how you look at the past determines what you extract from it. So I can living your life in the past for this vehicle, right? We all have this beautiful avatar we chose to incarnate into. And we're driving this vehicle down the road. Well, when you're living your life only focused on the past, it's like looking in the rearview mirror. So what happens when you're driving forward and looking in the rearview mirror? You're bound to get into all kinds of accidents because you're not even looking at where you're going. So you might be present in your vehicle, but you're so busy looking behind you, you can't actually plan for anything in the present or in the future because you're so obsessed with everything that happened in the past. If you were the football star and that's the identity you created for yourself and you're trying to move forward in your life and you're wondering why you're not the football star anymore, but you're bringing that with you as your only identity. So the way to bring the past into the present is to bring it with you. It's like taking the past and putting it on the passenger seat next to you. And you're having a conversation with the past as you're moving through life. Oh, hey, remember that day that blah, 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 blah. What can we learn from that? So bring the past up here and put it on the seat next to you and have conversations with yourself. It really is okay to talk to yourself. I do it all day long, every day. It's actually really important that you talk to yourself. So turn off the TV, turn off everything, and have some conversations with yourself. And your higher self is also that part of your past self. So have these conversations with yourself about what is it that we learned from the past? What can we extract from that so that we don't make those same mistakes again? And then as we move forward, we're still in this present moment and experiencing all the juice, like juicing the past for all that it has to offer us. But we're not focused on it. We're not looking in the rearview mirror with wishful thinking about what shoulda, coulda been, because in truth, you can't shoulda, coulda anything. And as you're in this vessel, this beautiful avatar we all chose to incarnate in, you stay there in the moment. So again, if you're picturing being in an automobile, when you're driving, and if you're only looking at the dashboard at the present moment, what happens? You run into a bunch of potholes and bumps and potential accidents again, because you're not forward focused, you're not looking far enough down the road. And so the key is to be able to stay in this beautiful present moment of what is and have a vision for the future. Stay focused on the future. Live in the present, focus on the future. And as you're focusing on the future, what do you want your future to look like? Because we are all creators of our reality. This is how we are made in the image and likeness of the creator of all that is. We are our own creators. And every thought, every belief, every action we take is creating our reality. We're all intercreating with 8 billion other people at every moment. So this is about being conscious of the choices and the thoughts and the actions that we have, knowing that we are feeding into this collective consciousness our beliefs, our thoughts, our actions. And those of us who live through life more consciously have the ability to consciously create that future. So what do we want the future to look like? And as you're in this avatar, you can look around at all of the chaos that's happening in our world right now and get overrun by what appears to be the storm of life, and it can take you down and suck you into this storm. It's like driving through a hurricane. Or you can stop and look around and realize, wow, I live in one of the most beautiful planets in the universe. I get to live here. Look how beautiful it is outside. Look how beautiful all these people are. I get to live here. I get to participate in this. I get to help create this. So you can drive in your vehicle and look at paradise, or you can drive in your vehicle and complain about everything that doesn't look beautiful to you. It's all about your perception. And the same holds true with the future. You can either envision the dystopia that the media and the movies are trying to feed us, or you can envision the utopia that I know for a fact is possible. Every single one of us, when we take our vision and envision what's possible for humanity and envision what's possible for this planet, we get to create that reality. And what a lot of people don't understand is that we are actually in the process right now of creating two different realities. This started occurring a few years ago. It's called the two-earth split. Some people call it the bifurcation of worlds. We are creating two side-by-side realities, and each one of us get to choose which of those realities we participate in, which of those realities we get to help create by our own vision, by our inspired ideas, and by the inspired action. One world that's being created is a dystopian world that is based in fear disguised as love and control disguised as security. The other reality we're creating is a love-based reality. This reality over here, the dystopia, is a fear-based reality that humanity's been living in for thousands of years. And we're now creating this new love-based reality, a higher consciousness. This is what the prophecies call the ascension. It's not going to be a spaceship that comes down and lifts all the good people up and take them someplace else. Oh, sorry. There's not going to be an event. The ascension actually started in the 1960s. And so we are now raising, the ascension is actually an ascension of inner consciousness that is occurring within every one of us. And it is occurring on the planet herself. So what's happening on the planet right now is a very rare and precious event where the planet and her people are ascending at the same time. The entire universe is watching what happens on planet Earth because this is such a unique event. This has never occurred before on the planet, where the consciousness of the planet herself and the consciousness of her people are rising up into vibrations of love. And the more of us who understand what this new reality looks like, the sooner we get there. And so I see people all the time complaining about what's presently happening. Instead of looking around and seeing all the possibilities as they're moving through their avatar, they're complaining about everything that's currently happening on the planet, not understanding that this breaking down of the old reality is necessary to create this new reality that is wanting to be birthed through each and every one of us. This new reality is beautiful. It is love-based. It is based on freedom and prosperity for all life on Earth. And so our vision, our focus creates that. And each one of us get to choose which reality we're going to help create and which reality we want to participate in. And so that's what I mean about focusing on the future. Be in this beautiful present moment. Experience the love and the delight of being in human form, and then also focus on the world you want to create. Because we are the creators of our reality. And rather than trying to justify my way is the only way and this need to defend our positions, which defense actually is a form of fear, defending my rights, defending my reality, defending my choices. Understand that every single one of us have our own perspectives, and the value of every person's perception is limitless. When we become unified and stop trying to defend why my way is the only way, and my way is the right way, and your way is wrong, and your way isn't right, and come to understand that the more we unify in the truth that we have the ability to create a better world, that's how we create it. So if you find yourself in a conversation with someone where you feel like you need to justify your choices that you've made and you go into defense about your beliefs, just stop and listen. Because what's happened in our world is we've forgotten how to listen. We've forgotten how to communicate. And when we stop and we just listen, we have so much we can learn about ourselves and about the rest of humanity and about what's possible. Together we create. Together we envision. Together we step forward into what's really possible for humanity. And so as I close out this morning, my question for you is simply, what are you focusing on? What do you choose to focus on? Do you choose to focus on the dystopia that's being fed to us by the news? Or do you choose to focus on what's really possible when we unify in heart and spirit? Thank you for inviting me to be here. I'm honored to be in your presence, and thank you for honoring me with this gift of being able to be here with you this morning.
Short meditation.
I can do a short meditation.
All right.
Okay, so everybody close your eyes. And take a couple of deep cleansing breaths. And breathe into your heart space, into your heart center. This may seem odd for you if you've never thought about breathing into your heart. You know, we are creating a new heart-based, love-based reality. And the lungs exist to support the heart. The lungs exist to support the mind. The lungs exist to support the body. And so as you breathe into your lungs, you're actually activating and energizing your heart. And breathe into your heart center as you remember why you are here. As love having a human experience. As light experiencing and expressing itself through each of you. Breathing in love and breathing out love. Breathing in light-heartedness, and breathing out light-heartedness. Remembering that life is that we might have joy. Remembering that the love and the light within our hearts transmutes all fear, transmutes all darkness, and enlightens not only our own paths, but the paths of others who have not yet found their own light, and who have not yet discovered the loving essence of who they are, in the truth that love is all that is. And all that is love. Remembering this love, now fully activated within the very essence of who you are. That there is nothing about you that is not love. There is nothing about anyone or anything that is not love. And as we remember who we are as divine love expressing and experiencing itself as you and as me, we remember that all things are possible with love. All things are possible through each of us because we are love itself. Breathing in this remembrance as fear is breaking free of your hearts. Fear is breaking free of your mind. Fear is breaking free of your awareness as you come home to the truth of who you are. And that through each of us, all things are possible. I am love. You are love. And together, we create a new reality based only on love. So be it, it is so, and so it is.
So it is.